Welcome back to the terribly distorted past of the Wild West. And if you didn't catch my last video introducing you to the setting of Wild West Exodus, go ahead and check out that playlist in the description below. Because that video and this one are both really about setting the stage for this game, and going forward, we're going to be looking at the various actors, meaning factions, who stand upon that stage. Now in the last video, I talked about the divergence from our timeline. Right, that stumbling upon alien technology allowed us to reverse engineer a new future, one of technological power and opportunity. But Earth hasn't just been visited by another species long ago, not at all. The world as we know it is a raging battlefield for alien life, and we are but bystanders. Apes that think we are smart, yet interact with powers beyond our comprehension. And if you're into, Cthulhu or cosmic horror, this is where Wild West Exodus turns into your kind of game, because there are forces beyond our comprehension at work on this little mud ball we call Earth. Our story begins with the Order. None know the original race that became the Order, or where their material world was. But they are a species that has evolved beyond physical boundaries. They are beings of pure energy, not bound by time or space. Cross-galactic travel is but a thought to them, and this society resides in sort of a cocoon of time and space called the All-Shard. Think of it as their own personal plane of reality. And they exist here for an eternal life, constantly eager to learn more, share more, and watch over the galaxy and behold its beauty. But at one point, the Order found something they couldn't understand. Sort of like a black spot upon reality itself, like a void moving across the universe. It was another being, sort of like them, right? It's made of energy and mind, but it's not bound by physical boundaries in the same way. They called it the Hex. And as it shares passing similarities with whatever the minds of the Order are, it has some stark differences as well. The Hex will approach a world and break itself up into several seeds spread across the planet. Think like 4 to 6 pieces. And there it will remain for centuries or even millennia, because time means nothing to these beings. And if there is intellectual life on the planet, they will slowly be influenced by the power of the Hex. It corrupts, it taints, it mutates whatever it comes into contact with. Those under the influence of the Hex are united mentally, able to pull information from each other's thoughts easily, almost like it's a self-contained neural web. It gifts them with knowledge and wisdom and physical might, altering their forms completely. And if allowed to exist, it will completely corrupt and consume a planetary population. Now, the Order sees this as a direct threat to sentient life. It makes perfect sense, and they've made it their mission to destroy the Hex. But they lack physical form as well, so how do we do that? Well, the Order began its own manipulation of the physical universe, calling out to the same population upon planets through dreams and visions, and through these means they asserted their power back in the tangible world. Ancient beings of incredible power speaking through mortals on a mission to cleanse their world of the infected. Now, the first time this happened, the population was affected by the Hex, where they were brutally slaughtered. But the Hex itself slipped away, moving on to seed another world. Because it's important to note that even though the Hex has an intelligence to it, it's not a mind like the Order is. It's a creature, almost like this naturally occurring beast that only has instinct, only the faintest ideas of memories. But really it's about survival. And now this creature is being hunted. And even though the Hex got away, the Order learned a lot from this encounter. One, the Hex is a limited being. It can't travel through space like the Order can. It's not omnipotent. Its plans can be interrupted, and it has to go from one place to another. It can't teleport or anything crazy like that. And so began a cat and mouse game to last millennia. And if you are into cosmic horror, you're already into the idea of there's already this drama going on, and we are but a little part of it. The Hex would come and seed a planet, corrupt its populace. The Order would come and root them out. This cosmic predator and prey dynamic just happened to spill itself upon Earth, where the Hex has seeded our world and already begun to corrupt it. and the powers of the Order are now arriving to combat the Hex. Wherever there is society, there are outcasts, okay? People who don't fit the mold and are marginalized, pushed to the fringes, and that is where the Hex has taken its roots on Earth. The dregs, the unwanted, easily corruptible people, easy to hide because, quite frankly, nobody wants them around. On the other hand, where there is society, those are the elites. Thinkers, dreamers, engineers who can be influenced by the Order, given technology to do wondrous things, all in an effort to eradicate the Hex. Again, mortals are nothing more than pawns for this game. So these forces come to fairly primitive versions of Earth, and now we introduced the last player, or at least alien player, to our game, the Watchers. And we're going to put a pause in our story, our linear story here. While some beings have ascended to another level of existence like the Order, not all alien life has crossed, that boundaries out of the material world. The Watchers are a collective of several alien species dedicated to making sure the universe is full and prosperous. And they've had an eye on Earth for some time, watching our evolution closely with much anticipation, the idea being that when we, evolve enough, they want us to join. They seem like all around pretty good guys. But when the drama between the Hex and the Order arrived on Earth, something weird happened. Mankind's technology took a leap by decades, if not centuries. And this was a big deal to the Watchers, who understood that we as a race had not evolved societally, so we weren't ready for this. And so the idea of the Watchers is they want to get us back on track to where we should be. And so now these three factions, the Hex, the Order, and the Watchers, all of them have spilled into open war, using and fighting mankind. We are the people of this planet. We get to choose how technology is used, but we are also fiercely independent. I don't want to be controlled by the Hex or the Order, but also I don't want to be told I'm learning too fast by the Watchers. And so the fourth player, humanity, enters the ring. Earth is the battlefield for the souls of humans and the right to their sovereignty. And as always in these videos, I transition into, why is this cool, right? Stepping back from what's actually written about it, let's just have a discussion about why this is legitimately awesome. And I'll admit a few things first up. This is some wiggity stuff, right? Ancient aliens, energy-based life, all that kind of stuff. It's out there. And if it's your thing, that's awesome. It is mine too. If it's not, that's cool because you can really just stick to the Wild West drama. And honestly, the game won't play any differently. But for me, I'm super into the cosmic horror, like eldritch horror kind of stuff, where there are forces beyond our comprehension doing stuff that we can't imagine. I love it. And I didn't cover all the details about the different players here because I wanted to do that for the faction videos when I go, one by one talking about these factions. But here's the core idea that I love, and that is there's more going on in this world that you know or that you can handle. That's a cornerstone of so much, Lovecraft literature, that our world is but a stage for this millennia-long drama between factions who think so little of us because we are so little. But there's that human element of not, going gentle into that good night. None more so than the Wild West, and that makes Earth a compelling stage. Rugged independence, people who fight for their own rights, for their own sovereignty. They make their own laws. They can be corrupted, or they can be, these weirdly staunch good guys, like pinnacles of morality. All these things come together, and mankind can be so malleable and so different that they make for a really compelling, fourth player in this cosmic game. In addition to that, I love the idea of secret orders and cults. And honestly, this just comes in spades. When I was approaching Wild West Exodus, I was like, okay, so who are the Hex? Who are the Order? Why do they look so crazy? It's because, the Hex is all corrupted and mutated, and they kind of have developed this little evil cult thing where you only get to see the really messed up stuff the higher you get up into the cult. And the Order is it's technology that's been designed and influenced by intelligences far beyond ours, and so they look angelic and they look crazy to us, but it's because we didn't design it. Well, we built it, but it's from designs that were kind of seeded into our minds by somebody else. If, like I said before, if you don't like it, it's easily avoidable. Just stick with lawmen, cowboys, whatever you want to do. But if you do like it, there's a lot of depth here and a lot of cool sci-fi themes running through it. how these beings interact with mortal minds is interesting, right? We perceive them as these religious visions or, a true enlightenment of technology in the case of the Order. And that sense of religion shapes how these groups conduct themselves, right? They have their own zealots and sycophants and, all kinds of schools of thought based around the Order, all these things, and they're just so really interesting. I'll admit that I don't know much about the rules for the Order, even though they're online for free. I'll have to go read them. But I have kind of dug into the Hex in terms of reading their rule stuff, and they're just fascinating. Like, people die and they can get replaced with like an abomination, like a monster, like a warped, twisted version of themselves, and they have all different kinds of leaders who can tap into weird powers that the Hex allows them to, because again, they're all on a network together. I absolutely find it fascinating, so go ahead and check it out, and if you want to learn more about Wild West Exodus, go ahead and kind of save that playlist down below, and I'll be adding videos to it as I go. This is a great game, super easy to get into, and very affordable, quite frankly, and so it's a lot of fun, and I'm happy to cover it. So thank you all so much for listening. I hope to see you in my next Wild West Exodus video. Take care, and happy wargaming. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that video. It was made possible by the folks over here to the left. These are my top supporters over here on YouTube and on Patreon that keep this channel going. If you'd like to learn more about how to become a supporter and get some cool things in the process, like exclusive pictures and interactions with me, and get your questions answered here on the channel, go ahead and click any of the links down below or the join button on the community page over on YouTube. Regardless of your choice, I wanted to thank you so much for joining me with this video, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Happy wargaming.